Hi everyone, today is April 22nd. This is the second video for today. Hopefully it will also be fun because this is in honor of Earth Day. So happy Earth Day. So today it was fun for me. I'm doing everything in brown and green markers because, you know, that's kind of Earth-like stuff that's growing and stuff. So we're going to talk a little bit about Happy Earth Day, but we're also going to mainly work on ventures today. You have a lot of ventures curriculum to do today. So the first thing that we're going to do is the cartoon, and it says, wait, listen to me. We don't have to be just sheep. Okay, so I thought that was kind of cute because, you know, there's a saying like, you know, you're just a sheep. You follow the herd. You don't think uniquely. You don't do anything differently. You're just a sheep following the herd. So that sheep saying, wait, we don't just have to be sheep. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is this conversation. I'm going to, it'll be audio. And I liked this because it also talks about the main idea. So we're going to listen to it first. And actually, I think I'm going to pull that picture up in color so that you can see it. Okay. Get it centered a little bit better. So here's the picture, and it says, look for examples of the main idea while you are reading this. So we're going to do a main idea sentence. But let me get the track started.
Page 128. Exercise 2. Track 33.
I had a graduation party last Friday. My husband sent invitations to my teacher and to my relatives and friends. They all came to the party. My teacher, Mrs. Campbell, gave me a card. Some guests brought gifts for me. My Aunt Anna brought me flowers. My friend Sue gave me some perfume. My classmate, Ruth, brought me some cookies. After the party, I wrote them thank you notes. Tomorrow, I'm going to mail the thank you notes at the post office.
Okay, so what do you think the main idea of this paragraph is? Now, they kind of gave you a hint, and right across the top of that, it says graduation party gifts. That's not a complete sentence. So who or what is this mainly about? It is mainly about graduation party gifts. And what is the most important thing about this? She received some graduation presents from her family and friends. So, you know, sometimes presents are important. So this is the first sentence I put. My friends and family gave me graduation gifts. Okay? So like I've mentioned before, you know, sometimes it's good to step away from your sentence, give it an hour, and then come back and see if there's any way that you can condense it or make it smaller. So I also did this one. I received graduation gifts. Fairly straightforward. Okay? But I do like this one also for a different reason. We're going to practice our direct objects and indirect objects. So in this sentence, what is the subject? Well, you have what's called a compound subject. It's friends and family, right? Two people that are two subjects. That's called a compound subject. So friends and family is your subject. And what is the verb? Gave. And what did the friends and family give? They gave gifts, right? So gifts is your direct object. find my green marker for Earth Day. So gifts is your direct object. And who received the gifts? Who is the receiver of this action? It's the me, right? So that's your indirect object. So I'm going to put S under the family and V for verb. So you've got subject, friends and family, subject, subject, gave is the verb, me is the indirect object, and gifts is the direct object. So I liked that sentence for that reason, just so that you guys can practice your direct object and indirect object, which we've been practicing for a couple of days. But this is also a good sentence, but it doesn't have an indirect object. Subject, verb, direct object, but no indirect object. So you choose. I liked them both. Okay, at the bottom of that page, after you've read it a couple of times, go ahead and ask these, answer these questions on what did everybody give her. All right, the next thing that we're going to do are various other celebrations throughout the year. And these are celebrations that are unique to the United States, because the first one that they give you is Thanksgiving, and other countries have Thanksgiving, but it's not the same time. And the second one, you know it's United States because that's a picture of the Statue of Liberty. So I'm going to pull that up in color so that we can talk about it a little bit more. Maybe I will. And I have... Okay, we'll try that again. My Zoom keeps on freezing. I don't know what its problem is. So, pull that up. Okay, so we're just going to go through this, and before you listen to the audio track, see if you can find clues in the picture, which you can, of course, on what that holiday is. So on this first one, let me use my annotating little spotlight thing. Can I move that down? Sorry. I'm hoping that there isn't that little bar across there that says spotlight, but I can't tell. So if there is, I'm sorry. But on this first one, you see the Statue of Liberty, and there are fireworks going off. So usually we see that, what day do we do fireworks? And that would be the 4th of July. Your dictionary, your picture dictionary at the bottom doesn't use those words though, 4th of July. It uses another word. Okay, on the next one, you've got two people who are getting married. And the next one is kind of interesting. It's what do you see in this picture? What are some clues that you can get onto what's going on? If you look in the back, it looks like the shelves are not that full of things right now. And you see this person is opening some boxes. It's not gifts because they're just plain boxes. But over here you see a woman bringing a gift and a card. So what could be going on in this house where this woman is opening up boxes, not gifts, but maybe neighbors or something are bringing a gift for her? What would we call that? Okay, this one, the next one, number 5, is if you see the clock on the back, it's almost midnight. So that would be, what day do we celebrate with balloons and the little horns that we blow at midnight? The next one, you see a little boy with flowers behind his back, and he's giving his mother a card. The next holiday, we actually have had a discussion about this several times. We do not celebrate the same type of it's Halloween, you know that, that a lot of cultures do. They celebrate All Saints Day or Day of the Dead, but they don't really celebrate the Halloween like the United States does. Okay, so what's going on in this next picture? You see a woman here who is holding up a cute little baby outfit, and she's obviously pregnant. Okay, and then there's a big clue in this one. All right, so let me stop that annotating. Okay, and now we're going to listen to the next Ventures track about that. So I guess I could have left it on there for you. Okay, actually, sorry, I'm gonna have to do this backwards because I need to stop for a second. All right, we're gonna try that one more time. Pull that up again for you. And then we shall listen to the track.
Track 34. 1. Thanksgiving. 2.
Independence Day.
3. A wedding. 4.
A housewarming.
5. New Year's Eve. 6.
Mother's Day.
7. Halloween. 8.
A baby shower.
9. Valentine's Day.
All right, so at the bottom of that, it asks you, do you celebrate Thanksgiving? And we had a seriously great Thanksgiving party this year, didn't we? But there are other holidays that some people celebrate in different cultures that we don't celebrate here. You know, so you can have a conversation with a family member about what you do or don't celebrate as far as these pictures go. Okay, on the next page, page 19, just go ahead and continue to answer these questions about the thank you letter that she is writing for one of the graduation gifts she got. And then on page 20, you're going to fill in the blank of a thank you letter also. We do thank you letters after graduation parties or weddings, birthday parties, just when you want to thank someone. It's nice to get in the mail sometimes. All right, the next one is an invitation on page 21. And I thought it would be interesting. Some of you guys do the cutest invitations and so pretty and creative. And so I thought it would be really fun if you guys would like to send me a picture of an invitation that you have done in the past. Now again, because of the coronavirus, I hope that you are not planning any parties right now. But you know, if you have kept an invitation from something that was really cute and creative, send a picture of it to me, and I will share it with everyone next week. Okay, so on the next page, we're doing a birthday party, and that also is, I have the color form for that, so let me share that. My phone is going off. I forgot to, sorry, hold on. Okay, we'll try that one more time. I just don't understand why everything is getting frozen. Okay, let me go down. Okay, so the next thing that you have is this birthday party, and one of them was in 1980, and then one of them is today, so to speak. And they want you to compare and contrast the differences that you see in each of those photos, but to use you can't see this, but to use the is and are for today. Today on the table there is, today in the birthday, in that picture there are, and then you can also use the negative of that. Today there isn't any children and there isn't any ice cream on the table. Today there aren't any presents on the table. So they want you to use the is and are and isn't and aren't. And then the was and were and the wasn't and weren't for the past. I'm comparing those two pictures. So let me pull it back up again. Okay, so what do you see in the picture in 1980 when Emily was a child? Okay, so you see that there is ice cream on the table. There are some gifts, and look at that. That's a TV back there. I think. Yeah, that's a TV back there. And then over here is an electric typewriter. So this was before people actually had computers, 1980. That was just the beginning of it. Okay. And of course there are children and party favors. Okay, and the other one, look at Emily's face. She just doesn't look as happy as she did in 1980, does she? And she's like, oh, okay, thank you. But look, this looks like it's a work party maybe, because back here is a computer monitor, and there's flowers, and she's getting cards, and it's a smaller cake. So what they want you to do is to compare and contrast some pictures. So you could say, for example, the example that they gave you in your book where it was the cakes are different. There's a small cake on the table today. There wasn't a small cake in 1980. There was a big birthday cake. So what are some other sentences that we can use to talk about her birthday party? So you could say, today there are flowers on the table. In 1980, there weren't any flowers on the table. In 1980, she had a smiley face candle on her cake. Today, there are no candles on her cake. In 1980, there were gifts on the table. Today, there are no gifts, but there are cards. Now let's switch them. Today, there are cups and a drink and a pitcher on the table. In 1980, there weren't any cups or drinks on the table. Today, there is a computer monitor in the back of the picture. In 1980, there were no computers. There was a TV in the back of the picture in 1980. So anyway, you can do this with your family. There's all sorts of different ways that you can compare and contrast those two pictures that that uses is and are, isn't and aren't, or was and were, and wasn't and weren't. I'm trying to make sure I have all those. Okay, so in honor of Earth Day, I thought we would do another is and are, was and were picture looking at Earth Day, because Earth Day is actually 50 years old. It's something that happened that's been here for 50 years. Let me hide that. Okay. So in this first picture, this was the first picture poster done April 22nd, 1970. And you see all of the cars. I mean, you can tell that this is old just by looking at the pictures of the cars. Like, here's a station wagon and big boxy cars. And then all the pollution coming from the airplane and all of the pollution coming from the factory stacks. Okay, and then here is the second one is a poster for today, the April 22nd, 2020, but it says 50 years ago, 20 million people marched on the streets to demand that government protect the health of our people. Earth Day 1970 remains the largest civil engagement event in human history until now. So stand up, speak up, show up. Okay? But of course, the big difference is in 1970, people could get together and protest, right? And the big difference in April 22nd, 2020, guess what? We cannot get together and do stuff for Earth Day. You know, you can't get together and plant trees. You can't get together and go pick up all the trash from a park because the parks are closed because of coronavirus. It's all digital to join on your computer to join Earth Day. So it says distance, not silence. So everything today is digital. So let's do a sentence on that one. Okay. In 1970, there were millions marching for Earth Day. Today, there aren't any active events. Today, it is on the internet. Okay? So you could do the same thing that you did with the birthday pictures. Today, there are, there aren't. In 1970, there was, there weren't. And then I have another picture to show from that, which I thought was kind of interesting. This is a poster from 1970, and it's kind of like psychedelic. That's a word like how does someone imagine that there's a hand coming out of a cloud and it's distributing fish, and this ocean are those eyeballs? What are those green things? Is it an eyeball looking for the fish, or are those hills? Why are the fish, are these ocean waves? So it's kind of very colorful, right? And that's in 1970, and kind of like, you know, psychedelic, where people were taking, psychedelic means it's like a hallucinogen. It's related to drug culture in the 1970s, but the art was very, very colorful, very, very colorful. So that's 1970. But then here's one from Earth Day 2020, and wow, that's still pretty colorful, isn't it? It looks like all of these people have leaves for hair, but it's still pretty. I mean, it's pretty cool. So anyway, just in honor of Earth Day, I thought that those were some cool comparisons between 1970 and today, especially today because of the coronavirus. Okay, so you guys can practice some of that with a family partner to talk about the differences in Earth Day in 1970 and to talk about the differences on those two parties, the birthday party for Emily. Okay, so on the next page, you have a review to do. And this review is not just for Unit 10. Can you believe that? That we're almost done with this unit in 2 days, basically. So on page 23, this review is for Unit 9. So you'll have to get your old book out to review Unit 9 and then also Unit 10. So you'll have to be familiar with both Unit 9 and 10. And part of this is an audio track, so we're going to listen to that. So before you answer these questions, pause the computer right now so that you can read the questions. Sometimes if you read the questions before you listen to the conversation, you can pick out the answers better. They will not stop. All of the entire conversation will go, there will be no pauses between question number 1, question number 2. So you pause and read all the questions and then start the Venture audio track for right now.
Review. Units 9 and 10. Page 134, Exercise 1. Track 35. Did you move to your new apartment yet, Ramona?
Yes, I moved last week, and I want to have a party to celebrate. I hope you'll come, Fabio.
Sure. When is it?
I don't know. Maybe next month.
Next month? Why are you waiting so long?
Well, my apartment is really nice, but it isn't ready yet. I want to paint the rooms. Do you know any good painters?
Yes, I know 2 good painters.
Which one do you recommend?
Well, the first painter is Walter Hewitt. He's good, but very expensive. The second painter is free. I recommend the second one.
The second painter is free?
Yes, because I'm the second painter. I'm very good, and you don't have to pay me. What do you think?
That's great. You're a good friend, Fabio.
Okay, so go ahead and answer those questions right there. And then the next one, exercise 2, is a grammar check on everything that you have been working on. And then on the next page, you are working on listening to the difference between how you say present tense verbs. Like talks and makes, or the z sound as in is or has, or the is like what is, fixes. So there is an audio track on that, and I thought I'm going to share with you just some pictures from my garden to show you what's growing on Earth Day here while you were listening to that. Unless if it's too distracting, then you don't have to do that. But I'm sorry, let me try that one more time. I just learned you cannot minimize that because it makes it pause. Okay, so those are the onions. I'll talk about that in a little bit. You know, this technology is great, but sometimes the stuff is freezing up. And I think it's actually the computer this time, not me. So let's try that one more time. Okay. So, but what you are going to be listening to while this picture is just in the background is our exercises A, B, and C on pronunciation of the present tense verbs, the S, whether it's S, Z, or is. So here's the first one.
Page 135, exercise 3A, track 36. S, talks, makes. Z,
Is. Has.
is, watches, fixes.
Okay, now we're going to listen to we're going to listen to exercise B.
Page 135, exercise 3B, track 37. S,
Wants. Suggests. Unlocks.
Z, prefers, recommends, does, is,
Relaxes. Teaches. Scratches.
Okay, so on the next one, exercise C, they're going to pronounce these words and you have to check off if it goes in the S column or the Z column or the is column. So let me get that started. Okay, so we shall get that one started. Let me share my photo again.
D5, exercise 3C, track 38. 1,
Drives.
2,
Gets.
3,
Goes.
4,
Uses.
5,
Takes.
6,
Wishes.
7,
Sleeps.
8.
Needs.
This is the end of the class audio. Thank you for listening.
Wow. So that's the last audio from the unit. Okay, so on the last one, you come up with 6 words, with 6 present tense verbs that use either the S, the Z, or the is sound, and not the ones that you just used, but some new ones. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to do is, because it is Earth Day, I'm going to share with you some pictures that I've taken. I don't have a lot growing yet, and but that will be changed. That will change. Okay, so the first picture that you've been seeing a lot, those are a picture of my onions that are coming up. I have a whole bunch more than that, but I have to cover them up with tree limbs so that the dogs don't get into them. And then here are the pictures of my potatoes coming up. So those are the only 2 things that I have planted right now. But here is a picture of my apple tree. I wish I would have taken a picture of my peach trees and apricot trees and pear trees while they were in bloom. But here's a picture of my apple tree, and the bees were all in it, just buzzing all around. They're like, oh, thank you so much for this apple tree. It gives us some food. So that's it for what is growing right now in my garden. But then I thought I would just share with you in honor of Earth Day, even though I can't plant them today because it's too wet because we had a rain. Show you some pictures of what I am going to plant. Here's some carrots. Look at how colorful those are. Aren't those pretty? Okay, and then I have a bunch of different kind of lettuces. There's black seeded Simpson lettuce. See how kind of dark it is. And then Grand Rapids lettuce. That's a pretty lettuce. And then Butter Crunch lettuce. And then a loose leaf blend lettuce. Isn't that pretty? Like those dark purples and stuff. And then iceberg lettuce. That's the most common one that you find in grocery stores. And then also spinach. And then some colorful peppers. And then some cayenne peppers, hot peppers, serrano chili peppers, jalapeno peppers, some Cherokee purple tomatoes, and then I've got some herbs, sweet basil, but most people in the United States say basil. I say basil, which is more of an English one, but basil. Dill that you use in your pickles. Parsley, which, by the way, guess who really likes that? Butterflies. Or the caterpillars of butterflies. Parsley, chives, and then a whole bunch of flowers. Here's phlox, some little marigold, some mixed marigold flowers, some baby's breath, cosmos, and then mini sunflowers. All these different sunflowers. Aren't those so pretty? And some morning glories. What's that? And nasturtiums, which, by the way, you can eat the flowers. They're pretty good in a salad. So that is some of the seeds that I'm going to plant. And here's the rest of them. So I am truly going to be honoring Earth Day, but just not today because it's too wet. Now, some people might think that I have an excessive amount of seeds. Okay, the root word is excess, which means a lot or too much. So just to practice our separating syllables, we're going to do the consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant. So first of all, you have to underline your vowels. And remember that vowels, vowel sounds make part of the syllable. So there's the ek, se, siv. And remember what I said about the E? It's silent. So we don't pay attention to that. So EX, here's a consonant, vowel, consonant. So we separate that syllable right there. CES. And then here's consonant, vowel, consonant. So we separate it right there. Excessive. Excessive. So maybe my seeds are excessive, but I'm doing it just for your sake so you can learn a new word and practice your syllables. Okay, so everybody have a happy Earth Day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.